Guys, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VIII. This time, we did not freeze while trying to come into this room. Yay! Last time, well, Rinoa kind of went a little bit crazy, and she's now in outer space. Squall's got a spacesuit on, so this is going to be fun. Anyway, yeah, for whatever reason it crashed as soon as I tried to go into that room. Luckily, I had saved only 10 minutes before, so it wasn't too bad, but the Lunar Cry has now begun. Rinoa's going to be swallowed by a flood of monsters. Seal is going to be broken. That doesn't sound good. Over the last little while, I haven't been listening to a lot of music, but the little bit that I have been listening to, I've noticed a little more use of auto-tune than I'm accustomed to, which is none. And it's just kind of irritating. That use of auto-tune, or whatever you want to call it, distortion for the vocals, that actually makes a purpose and has an effect on things. Oh. Well, I guess Rinoa served her purpose, and she's gone. And now we have to evacuate. Well, we came here and we screwed everything up. Yeah, we also promised the president somehow that we were, for some reason, that we'd protect you. She's calling you, huh? We should probably go. Don't know if I can send you. I don't think we could come over here before now. But I could... Stop getting stuck on that. Well, there's a giant column of monsters. Now, here is a very interesting point. I complained about all of the enemies in the game being the bloody same ones we've been able to fight since Disc 1. Many of the enemies we fight are the same that we fought in the first 10 hours of the game, really. If you don't include, you know, all the extra time I spent on card grinding. But with the Lunar Cry, the amount of enemies that we get to face is dramatically increased, and the difficulty spikes massively. "20 minutes. Reserve tank, give her 5 at the most." Well, if they had built up his gradual turn to accepting Rinoa a little more, I think I'd be able to take it a little bit better. Like, if I had chosen the other song at the FH concert, Squall, I think, agrees to be a little more accommodating and Rinoa doesn't storm away. So, in that respect, I probably should have showed off that variation of the scene instead of the one that I saw. But at the same time, there should be just a little more kind of nuance and development gradually bringing him toward this way instead of... And he does get, you know, a little bit of gradual change over time in regards to everyone. But I would also appreciate, you know, a gradual, say, noticing or, you know, just doing little things to kind of help Rinoa out instead of trying to be, you know, basically who he is and then just slightly change. Like, he just doesn't have enough change and then everything splits at the start of Disc 3 and he completely does a 180. I understand the use of, you know, putting Rinoa in danger to trigger that. I just don't particularly like how it's implemented here. Which I guess is my problem with many aspects of Final Fantasy VIII in general. Great ideas, the implementation's not all that great. It's a great idea to have enemies level up with us. It's not implemented all that well. And of course it doesn't help that the enemies that we have to deal with up until now have been all the bloody same ones. Even if they level up, there's no difference in fighting them. Well, we made it out of there just in time. Now, speaking of implementation, this is not the time for this flashback. This is on disc 2. Rinoa has been removed from the D District prison, which is there in the background, and Irvine is taking her away under her father's orders. We knew that this happened, but we never got to see it. So for whatever reason, they thought that this was a good time to show us what happened here. Now, the way Rinoa put it on disc 2 when we got in there, it's like he didn't even care at all. It's not that Irvine didn't care. He had perfect faith that they would be able to get out of there because he has faith in their abilities. That, and of course at this point we don't know it, but Irvine still remembers that he knew all of them. So he knows that they're capable, he definitely cares about them, so it's not like he's being just heartless about this. And I find this rather amusing because Squall, I could actually see him saying that in a couple of situations. No one ordered me to do this, so I'm staying here. The abruptness of both of them falling just makes me giggle. Wow, that's some driving. Yeah, the tires don't make a whole lot of sense in Final Fantasy VIII. They just don't work. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And here's a scene that just no. Squall's ring. I don't know where he bought it. It looks really cool. Yeah, the one with the lion on it. You're gonna make her one. You're pretty good with that kind of stuff. I think that comes up twice in the game that he's good with his hands or something like that at making things. And this is the build-up. This is all it leads to, and that's it. I don't really know why the use of the wine glass in the foreground. It doesn't really change anything here. I'm not exactly sure why it's there. It seems like an odd choice in direction. Yeah, let's have Squall show us the real thing. Why not? No, it's not. What are you talking about? So, the idea here is Zell just realized that Rinoa likes Squall. And my response is still exactly the same. So, how is that embarrassing? And then I realized, right, Japanese game. And then I think back to all the anime I've seen. I was like, okay, it's stupid, but it's anime stupid. Okay, I can live with that. Even though it doesn't make any sense in a Western context. It doesn't. But, you know, it's an anime trope. I can let that slide. She's too embarrassed to do anything around the person that she likes. Even though most of the things she does throughout the game lead her to, you know, actually, you know, tell basically flat out that she likes him without saying it. You know, she's very clingy. Whatever. This Well, this is when everything changed. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have a feeling I know what's happening here. Yeah, this never made any sense before. Sorceress is alive. Yes, this is what happened at the end there. It was kind of odd that Rinoa went unconscious and Adia became herself again, all at the same point in time. Said to be hidden beneath the ocean. Provide you with dreams again. It almost seems with this one line that Cypher might not be kind of entranced or being manipulated as much as he's being promised something that he can only get from a sorceress. Maybe the dream of being her knight. Or if this was a dojin, then something completely different. As you wish. Huh. She noticed. Interesting. So she seems to have broken the alone, or like broken alone out of that connection there. She seemed to notice that it was something was happening. No, we couldn't change anything, but we understand things quite a bit better now. Did he now? Curious, innocent puppy dog eyes. That's in the past. Mm-hmm. You finally realized that, huh? The only thing you can do. Your voice may not reach her, but your heart will. Taking you to the nearest past, to the closest present, to the future. That is a convoluted way of saying 5 minutes ago. Or right now, basically. It's really, really convoluted the way she says that. Mini life support, 15 seconds. Am I gonna make it? The use of the song Drifting here, considering we used it before when the garden was drifting, now Rinoa is drifting in space. That's a nice touch. I like that. Drifting endlessly. Time's up. This is the end. All at a bear. Drifting in space. Seems, assuming that's Rinoa's dialogue, seems she's free of her mind control once again. but this is the end. The first thing that occurred to me after watching this scene, in recent times anyway, is how do they control the glass so that it doesn't fog up in a spacesuit like that? Not the most pressing question I could come up with, but for the most part, oh. Just gonna let this kind of play out because Rinoa just died. There's no skipping this. I love the music from this game. But the use of silence, when we're so used to there being music, can be even more effective. They do a great job using silence to explain to us that she is dead. Or is she? Remember, we talked to someone. There was an extra 5 minutes of reserve. I guess she had to activate it herself, but I'm not sure how she even knew that, considering she was ensorcelled when she came in. But, yeah. I love the use of silence there. It's so effective, considering 99% of this game has music in it, or at least ambience. And just having complete and utter silence there, I think, is the most effective, you could have possibly done a scene there. It's interesting how he's calling back to their old brother-sister dynamic now, when he was saying before, when she was talking about how he used to look at it. It's like, nope, that's in the past. There's no way he can get back. Gonna run out of fuel and life support in no time. They're both gonna die. Well, that sucks. But Squall is doing something stupid, romantic, and completely insane. But for the guy who basically locked off his heart, he's broken through. And while I'm not a big fan of how they got here, once he's finally here, I can get behind it. You have to get in front of her. Use the joystick or the D-pad, whichever you prefer, and press over to the right, left, up. You'll notice how my camera is kind of changing a little bit, and keep her in the center of the screen. If you fail to do this, it's actually game over. I'm not sure what happened in my test run, but I had something where it was like really weird and she was moving in like really fast and I actually could not keep up for some reason. And then I loaded up the file and tried again and it worked just fine. And then I tested before I recorded and it worked just fine again. But yeah, you just need to keep her somewhere in and around the center, preferably not as high as I just went there, but try and keep her in the center and things will preferably go well. Just be careful. Up and down seems to be the bigger worry than anything else. Well, Squall, you did it. I couldn't really get behind you until now, but you proved that you have changed and you're not just whining about it now. I can appreciate that. Somehow, your voice got through. Don't worry, I have no idea if we're going to survive, but I didn't want to survive without you, so. Out of fuel, huh? Low on oxygen? Guess we're gonna die here in space. But at least we're together. Gotta think. Hello? What's that? So when they were saying he could run out of fuel, fuel is, I guess, what allows us to kind of maneuver around so that we can kind of maneuver a little bit. That's what happened with that little mini game there for a minute and a half. You can control Squall around here too, though you don't have to. They'll catch automatically. This is kind of ridiculous. It's one of the biggest Deus Ex Machinas in the entire game. Thing is, this one doesn't bother me as much as many of the other ones do. Mainly because I know that... I don't think we've seen it in a cutscene, but we either have seen or we will see that this was floating here ahead of time. So, like, we knew that it was here. It just so happened to be right in our line so that we survive and we don't die. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it's a complete Deus Ex Machina. But there are many stupider things in this game than this. There's air in here, somehow. The music has stopped. Okay, one more thing. No clip this time. This is kind of important. The ring. Squall's ring was what we saw floating around in Rinoa's helmet that triggered her to realize that she's still alive and to hit her extra air. That entire plot point was brought up primarily as a stupid reminder of Squall just for this. Just so that she could see that and get her extra 5 minutes. To be honest, I barely acknowledge that that makes any sense because it kind of doesn't. If they had set it up better, then it would have been fine. If it was something that Squall had given her say on disc 2 to show his affection toward her earlier, that he had given her like a duplicate or like one for her, or it's like, here, hold on to this for me when at one time when she was scared, this would have worked perfectly fine. But because they do this stupid plot line with Zell and creating another one, I don't find it works at all. But it should work, and it's a great idea. Again, terrible implementation. There's so many good things about this game that they just failed to implement properly. Just did what you wanted to do. Stop trying to be all cool now. You did something completely idiotic for the woman that you apparently love now. Just go with it. Admit it. Okay, that's a universal symbol. I think we can all figure out what she's trying to do now. Spacesuit was in our way before. Give me a hug. Yeah, she's embarrassed. She's too embarrassed to ask him about a ring, but she'll go right out and give me a hug. This game's dumb. A real tight one, yeah. See, that's the thing. The embarrassed thing doesn't really work with her because it's not part of her character. Like, it's an anime trope that we see in anime all the time, and even video games. But here, because of her character, it doesn't make any sense. And I know I'm bitching through probably some of your favorite parts of the game. I realize this. I'm bitching, but it's me. This is what I do. I bitch about video games. Games that I still love regardless of how dumb they are. I've played this game over a half dozen times and I'll play it again. I still love this game. I like pointing out the stupidity. Like, everyone hated on Sword Art Online when it came out. Half of my enjoyment from that series was just watching it, because I actually kind of liked it. I completely admit that it's bad, but half of the enjoyment I got from it was looking at and realizing about how bad it was. You can have something that's both not great and so bad it's good, and it just kind of hits a middle ground, and it's enjoyable nonetheless, even despite its flaws. Final Fantasy VIII's not quite that bad, but it definitely has a lot of really dumb points to point out. But anyway, it's not that I hate the game. I love the game. It's one of my, probably in my top 10 favorite games. But it has a lot of problems too. Anyway. Okay. What now? We had this nice romantic moment. Everyone's happy, and what the crap? Holy jeez! The hell is that? There are aliens on this ship. Oh crap, we're all gonna die. Yeah, that just comes out of nowhere. I interrupt the, this happy moment with, my no more save point. Help me? They're all over the place. No, I'm screwed. I'm stuck. Okay, we have boss time. I set up my junctions off screen. Combine. She now has a new ability. Angelo is not with her. Since she is merged with the, had a possession by the Sorceress, she now has the ability to use Angel Wing. What this does is it increases her magic's power to a ridiculous point, and it puts her in a magic berserk stage where instead of using normal attacks, she will use magic spells. There is a way to manipulate this to be extremely effective because she's not very bright. This is the AI for you. Kira, Asuna, life. We don't need to worry too much about any of those things. Ultima! Let's see how much damage this does. She's already got a pretty high magic stat. We haven't seen the Ultima spell, so let's see it. Max damage. Yeah, it can be useful. I will demonstrate at one point the most effective way of making use of it so that it does the most damage. For defeating them, we get Aura Stones and 5 AP. They fall down, but they don't disappear. There's different colored ones too. But anyway, that's pretty much all the time we have for today. Next time, we're going to explore this very strange ship with strange music and even stranger creatures. That's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.